Hello and welcome to ThePrint. This is Kerala Connect and I am Anand Kochukudy. How do you solve a problem like Shashi Tharoor? This is a question that the Kerala Congress is grappling with. The Congress in Kerala is divided into different factions, but on the question of Shashi Tharoor, they have joined ranks and they have become one, except for the Kerala Pradesh Congress Committee President K. Sudhakaran, who took a slightly different line, slightly sympathetic to Shashi Tharoor. All the others have been united in their criticism of Shashi Tharoor. So, what did Shashi Tharoor do? He wrote a column in the New Indian Express where he showered praises on the Communist Party of India, Marxist, the left, which is ruling Kerala, and under Chief Minister Pinarayi Vijayan, the left in Kerala has undergone a change where they have welcomed investment, they have rolled out the red carpet for businesses. There is an investment summit called Global Investment Summit, and they have made quite a few changes in their outlook towards private wealth capital. And Shashi Tharoor has written a column where he praised the ideological flexibility of the left in doing that. Maybe he was also trolling a bit the left's ideological flexibility, but nevertheless, he wrote something positive about the left. Also, he in the same time he praised Narendra Modi's foreign policy, his trip to the United States. Everything was fine, but the timing seemed awry in the sense both these developments came in a seemingly wrong time for the Congress in Kerala and for the Congress in the center. In the center, the budget session was going on. Prime Minister Modi curiously used Shashi Tharoor to criticize Rahul Gandhi's quote unquote lack of maturity while dealing with foreign policy. Speaking about foreign policy, Narendra Modi stated that for some people they show that they are mature by speaking about foreign policy, and he said he was not referring to Dr. Tharoor in the opposition benches, but he was obviously speaking about Rahul Gandhi. And following this, Shashi Tharoor did have a one-on-one meeting with Rahul Gandhi himself, which is something that a privilege not reserved for many senior Congress leaders. But in the case of Shashi Tharoor, this was long overdue, this was long pending. Shashi Tharoor had been seeking an appointment with Rahul Gandhi for the past 2 or maybe 3 years, ever since he was contesting as the presidential candidate, All India Congress Committee for the post of president. He filed his nomination and he has been seeking appointment with Rahul Gandhi ever since. But it finally came about under these circumstances, and it was a one-on-one conversation. K.C. Venugopal was kept out of it at the insistence of Dr. Tharoor. And so it went on, and even after emerging from it, Shashi Tharoor seemed somewhat miffed, somewhat unhappy, although he did not pass any comment to that extent. But it seemed that he was not fully on board, or his concerns were not fully addressed. Although at least he managed to speak, with Rahul Gandhi personally. He managed to speak up, to take up his issues, his grouses, the fact that he is not being used to his potential by the party either in the center or in Kerala, that the party seems to have no use for him, especially in Kerala where an election is coming up after a year. So that is one thing in Kerala. Coming back to Kerala, the leaders in Kerala who at one point when he was contesting, he managed more than 100 out of around 300 votes in Kerala for the post of AICC votes. He managed more than 100, which is more than 1/3 votes from Kerala. and out of the total votes polled, he managed 12%. So at the time, Shashi Tharoor had managed to woo a considerable number of Congress leaders, many of them youngsters, and the Kozhikode DCC, for example, they voted en masse in Kozhikode district for Tharoor, and he had been, touring the state at that point. He did not hide his ambitions about being made a CM nominee, CM face, and he was touring different parts of the state. He seemed acceptable to the Nair Service Society, the church, different factions of the church. He was also in demand in the Malabar region by the Indian Union Muslim League, a crucial ally of the Congress in Kerala. So, but at some point, he went to a Palestine solidarity rally organized by the Muslim League at the Kozhikode beach, where he made a faux pas. His well-wishers advised him well in advance because they knew what he was going to say, because people had anticipated it. But he did not, take their point on board, and he went and attacked. He qualified the Hamas as terrorists, which was his way of balancing out his criticism of Israel and Israel's actions in Palestine. So after that, his popularity seemed a bit, his momentum that he had created seemed disrupted. But nevertheless, he was active, and then the Lok Sabha elections happened. He managed to win a tough election against Rajiv Chandrasekhar, although it was too close to call towards the end. It went down to the wire. At one point, Rajiv had taken a lead of 25,000, but he managed to come back, and Tharoor finally won by over 16,000 votes. That's history, and Tharoor doesn't seem very keen to contest another election from Thiruvananthapuram. But now he seems to take an interest he seems to have an opportunity in Kerala where he is looking at being projected as the chief ministerial face. The problem is that there are many chief ministerial aspirants in Kerala. The chief ministerial faces are galore. There is V.D. Satheeshan, who is the leader of opposition in Kerala, who has been working towards positioning himself as the CM in waiting ever since the Pinarayi Vijayan government has been, got down in its popularity ratings. V.D. Satheeshan sees an opportunity where he can emerge as an alternative. There is Ramesh Chennithala, who has thrown his hat into the ring yet again. He was the chief ministerial candidate de facto in 2021, and he couldn't take the Congress across the line. So there is Chennithala, there is V.D. Satheeshan, there is of course K.C. Venugopal, who is probably looking to be the consensus candidate if there's a squabble between V.D. Satheeshan and Ramesh Chennithala. And as things stand, Shashi Tharoor is fourth in the pecking order. But Shashi Tharoor doesn't seem very happy at such a predicament. According to Tharoor and his camp followers, they feel that by projecting Tharoor as its CM, as the Congress's CM face, the Congress can win votes that go generally to the BJP or even the left or the apolitical segment, who can, add to the UDF kitty. As of today, as things stand, the LDF's popularity is waning. They seem going down, and there's two-term anti-incumbency, 10-year anti-incumbency. The left has been struggling on multiple fronts, but there's one more year to go, and 1 year is a long time in politics. Shashi Tharoor has a USP. His USP is that he is the most popular face in Kerala Congress as things stand, as of today. Post K. Karunakaran, post Chandi. There is no pan Kerala Congress leader. And if there's anybody who comes anywhere close to that, it is Shashi Tharoor. He may not attract a Congress crowd as much as he attracts a general crowd everywhere, anywhere in Kerala, wherever he lands, he manages to get a huge impromptu crowd to land wherever he attends a program. So that is his popularity, and he seems to think that the Congress should exploit that and use him to come back to power in Kerala. In many ways, Shashi Tharoor is trying to build a base for himself outside the party, like V.S. Achyutanandan once did. So Shashi Tharoor seems to be doing something like that by trying to build a constituency for himself outside the party. And in many ways, Shashi Tharoor is like a third way politician, like Bill Clinton in the United States or a Tony Blair in the United Kingdom, who came and revived the prospects of the Democrats in the US and the Labour Party in the UK, when it seemed the Conservatives and the Tories and the Republicans had almost a sway and it couldn't be broken. So the left in Kerala is, as some people say, they're almost metamorphosing into the Congress of the past. And the Congress in Kerala, it seems, is going back to the certain elements of the left. For example, the Congress has become a bit more conservative when it comes to many aspects, while the left has become more progressive. For example, V.D. Satheeshan, who is the leader of opposition, he was once exemplified many of the qualities that Shashi Tharoor is known for today. He had he was more progressive. He espoused green politics. He had there were movements like Say No to Hartal that V.D. Satheeshan had conceived. But ever since he became the leader of opposition in Kerala, he seems to have been pigeonholed into that partisan bipolar. Kerala is strongly bipolar, so it's it's a very partisan political state. So you have to take positions, hard positions. There's no middle ground, and in many ways, the Congress is also, its agenda is also being set to some extent by the Indian Union Muslim League and the Jamaat-e-Islami backing them, which seems to be a bit far left for today's political scenario in Kerala, where the youth are they seek development by any means, because Kerala has been beset by strikes, by the left has held Kerala back by some 20-30 years, but now they want to move on, and the left in Kerala, the CPIM, seems to have moved on, but has the Congress. And Tharoor, once again, is very different from the typical Congress leaders who are still somewhere, they have that traditional conservative values where, which may be a bit more conservative for today's age than what Tharoor exemplifies. So there are many questions about Shashi Tharoor's motivations, where he is headed, whether he is sulking, and what is going to be his next step, whether the Congress will pacify him, whether the Congress can hold on to him, or whether he might take a more independent line. Maybe he won't join, there is very little chance for him to join the BJP or the CPIM or become an independent backed by either the Saffron Party or the Marxists, where his line of thought will have even little space than the Congress. But Shashi Tharoor can, of course, he is very popular figure among the speech and literary circuit, where he can go around the world, write books, give speeches, attend events where he is in huge demand. So whether Shashi Tharoor has it in him to wait further, to wait and see what happens post 2026, if he cannot become a chief ministerial face, if he cannot become the chief minister. So whether he has that motivation to go on remains to be seen. But there's this famous quote about Atal Bihari Vajpayee, which was an anecdote about him from the late 80s, when the BJP's prospects seemed down and out, and Advani was making headway, and Vajpayee was sidelined seemingly towards the end of the 1980s, where he seemed to have very little role, although he came back very soon and became the prime minister in 1996. At that time, he is supposed to have ruminated Jaye to Jaye Kaha, the famous song, if I have to go, where can I go? So in Tharoor's case, it's probably something like that. He is not fully happy with the Congress, but he may not have anywhere to go. He cannot go to the BJP. That will discredit everything that he has written until now, every statement that he has given until date. That will totally discredit him, which is very unlikely route for him. And the left, even that is very unlikely that he would take the left route. But it remains to be seen whether he has a future in politics after all. This is Anand Kochukudy signing off with Kerala Connect this week.